Good morning. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, ready to break everything down around Russell Wilson and the latest trade rumors going on around him. A few weeks ago, we talked about the latest rumors here on today's show, and well, we're getting a little bit more of an update, and I'm going to be surprised if Russell does ultimately get traded, but let's talk about what happened today. So here's the report. Wilson's camp has approached the Seahawks about a potential trade. This is from The Athletic. The issue is here. Trading him before June 1st cost the Seattle Seahawks $39 million. However, Wilson's relationship with Seattle, it's been rocky, and it's been something that we've talked about on Chat Sports, and it's been something that continues to get brought up. Now, when I went through and I looked at this article from The Athletic, I saw a lot of glaring things here. Not only is Russell Wilson unhappy, he wants to be remembered. He wants people to remember his legacy. He goes on to mention multiple players that he grew up watching and idolizing, like a Derek Jeter. He also grew up watching Drew Brees because he's another undersized quarterback that could get things done. But a lot like Drew Brees, he only has one Super Bowl. But he wants to be remembered like a guy like Tom Brady. And in this article, it really goes into depth how, hey man, I've been getting hit a whole lot behind this offensive line. How are you going to make this offensive line better? He refers to Brady in the Super Bowl where he was like, this dude didn't really get hit. That's the type of protection that I want. And at the end of the day, when I retire, I want to be remembered for Super Bowls, for being great, and to be in that exact same conversation as Tom Brady. So if you're Russell Wilson and you want to be this player that you're like, hey man, I want to be able to express my frustrations. I want to be able to talk about if something's bothering me, I should at least be able to bring it up. So we're going to go back to where this, we'll say the Wilson drama really started to root up here. If you remember back in Week 12, okay, apparently Russell Wilson was in a meeting and he ended up storming out of that meeting. Why? He made some comments about the offensive line and, wanted to be, we'll say, he wants the better offensive line, if you will. Now, he goes on to say basically in this meeting that he tries to express his frustrations and just kind of gets shut down. If you remember, before that Week 12 game, he was probably the front runner to win MVP. Storms out of the meeting, then the offense changes up a little bit, and if you remember, Wilson really has never, not even really never, he has never won an MVP, and I do think that is something that he does truly desire. But I've been saying on this show for a long time, I don't know if it's going to happen, but where there is smoke, there is fire, and you're starting to see a lot more smoke, especially around all these Russell Wilson trade rumors, and we're here at Chat Sports trying to keep you guys updated. So what do we do here? We're an interactive YouTube channel, and we're always trying to get to know what you guys have to say, right? So where do you think Russell Wilson is going to play in 2021? If you think it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks, I want you to scroll on down in the comments section and type S. If you think it's going to be another football team, type O for other, but be an overachiever. Let me know who you think. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you 4 teams that have been linked to Russell Wilson and I guess having the best chance of trading for the quarterback. So we got some pretty cool quotes here that I found in the article and I wanted to be able to break down for y'all. Wilson and Carroll have won at least 9 games in each of the 9 seasons together. They have made the playoffs every season but one. Won a Super Bowl and lost another. But the Seahawks haven't reached the NFC Championship game since 2014. And Wilson's frustration has escalated to the point that his camp has broached potential trade destinations with the Seahawks. Now, the article that The Athletic put out, it's long and lanky, but I'm telling you right now, that's the paragraph that I want every single person to watch. Now, here's the other part of this quote here. Russell Wilson stormed out of a meeting with coaches after his ideas for fixing the offense were dismissed prior to their Thursday night football game versus Arizona. That was the part where I started to talk about, that's where I think really some of this frustration has come. And if you do want to be remembered for winning, and if you do want to be remembered for being great, at the end of the day, you should be able to say, I personally think, what you want. Now, do I like quarterbacks demanding trades? No, I honestly do not. However, Russell Wilson is the face of that franchise, and Russell Wilson has done so many great things, not just for the team, but also for the city of Seattle. Now, this is why you should subscribe to Chat Sports. We're a daily news station, basically, for all things sports. If you want NFL news, we got you. You want rumors every single day, we got you. Literally, new videos every single day, 3 hours every day. So hit that big red button that says subscribe. And if you want to join us for our live shows, Monday and Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, we would definitely appreciate that. We also cover breaking news, because if he's traded, yeah, you can bet your bippy we're going to be making a trade around that. Now, we also have a Seahawks channel that's getting really close to 18,000 subs here. And producer Sam saying we crossed yesterday. So this channel crossed 18,000 subscribers. It's one of the fastest growing channels that we've ever had here at Chat Sports. So if you're watching this video on our main channel, then go ahead and subscribe to our Seahawks channel. The link is below. It's youtube.com/SeahawksTV, where we're basically putting out a daily video, whether it's news and rumors around the Seahawks or whether it's Russell Wilson related. We're going to keep you up to date. That link, again, is below on screen. We're also going to be able to put it for you in the comments section. Now, I hinted here that I don't know if the trade happens in 2021. But the other report that's in this is that he could actually be traded in 2022 because this is where it becomes a lot more manageable. Now, sure, maybe some of the teams that we're about to mention could trade for him in 2021 because they have the money and it's not really that big of an issue. However, if it only costs Seattle $13 million to be able to move on from him in 2020, it's definitely a lot more likely, at least in my personal opinion. But anytime that you see trade rumors, especially involving a big-time quarterback, I mean, they're going to happen. And every single time if he's upset, if a trade rumor pops up, well, shame on you, I'll say. But, I mean, remember last offseason when we talked about Aaron Rodgers, he could potentially trade. Well, it sounds like he's going to stay in Green Bay. But when you involve a player of Russell Wilson's caliber, who has been one of the best quarterbacks the last decade, it's going to spark a lot of interest. Now, this is where his numbers last season. 4,212 yards, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. But he was on an electric pace where he had like 15 touchdowns, I believe, through the first 4 games, and everyone was saying this is his year to win MVP. And when you look at what he's done throughout his entire career in 144 starts, it's pretty mind-blowing that not only has he never won an MVP, he's actually never even gotten a vote to win the MVP. Like, that's mind-blowing to me. So at the end of the day, quarterbacks aren't going to be remembered by MVPs. Sure, it helps out a little bit, and if you really do want to make your case to make the Hall of Fame, which it sounds like Russell Wilson obviously wants to do, a super competitive guy, it comes down to Super Bowls. And if you don't have the offensive line, if you don't have a good defense, I mean, Seattle's defense was one of the worst in the NFL last year. Sure, they're trying to put pieces around him like a Jamal Adams, but if you can't protect this guy, I mean, think about this. He's on pace right now to be sacked more than any quarterback in NFL history. Let me say that one more time. He's on pace to be sacked more than any quarterback in NFL history, which is maybe some to blame on him because he's a guy that likes to scramble back there in the pocket and make something happen. However, he's also one of the most mobile quarterbacks that I've been able to see play for such a long period of time, and he's a tough dude battling through multiple injuries. So I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson. But here's my question here. What is his trade value? Because anytime you talk about a big-time player like this, the ultimate question is, what does it cost to trade for Russell Wilson? Obviously, you're going to have to pay him top dollar because, well, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But how many draft picks? What's the draft capital that an NFL team is going to have to give up? So what I try to do here is wrap my mind around it. I'm saying it starts with this. At least 3 first-round picks. There's just no way in my mind you're going to be able to make this move unless you give up at least 3 first-round picks. Now, for some of these teams that I'm about to mention, it might be a little bit easier, but some of you are like, wow, 3 first-round picks? If Matthew Stafford can go for 2 firsts and a third, I get that there were some other players involved in that. You can't give me a legitimate argument that Russell Wilson isn't worth at least 3 first-round picks. Hell, if I'm Seattle, I'm going to ask for a lot more than 3 first-round picks. I'm going to want like 4 first-round picks. I might even say 5 first-round picks because he is that important to this team, and this team is in win-now mode. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier on this video, there were some teams mentioned that could be potential trade destinations for Russell Wilson. The Miami Dolphins were the first team mentioned, and it doesn't really surprise me because there's been some rumors around Tua and whether or not he's the future. Miami is kind of stuck pretty stern in saying that we're going to build around Tua going forward. However, they have a lot of draft capital, 4 picks in the top 50 this year. They have the 3rd overall pick, the 23rd overall pick, and they got plenty of money to boot, so that could be making some sense there. The New York Jets, kind of the exact same thing here. A lot of good picks. They got the 2nd pick, the 23rd overall pick in this year's upcoming draft, and a lot of money to be able to spend. The New Orleans Saints is a pretty interesting one. Obviously, they don't have a lot of money, but Drew Brees is set to retire. I think we would all agree that Russell Wilson would be an upgrade over Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, but if you're a football team, I don't really think the Saints make sense this year, but could make some sense next year. And then the Las Vegas Raiders, any single time that there's a quarterback that's being brought up, the Raiders are a team that's thrown in there. They've been pretty stern in saying that they're going to stick with Derek Carr. There's already been contract extension talks with Carr. However, if the Raiders make this move, I don't think it happens in 2021. It more likely happens in, 2022. So what do you think here? What % chance is Russell Wilson traded? Okay, if you guys want to throw in your comments down below, I would really appreciate it. If you would have asked me this a month ago, I would have just straight up said 0%. But now there's a lot more news and rumors to report about it, and there's some more stories coming out. And if his camp is approaching it, the odds do go up. But how much do they go up? I'm going to say my % chance of Russell Wilson getting traded in 2021, it's a 1% chance. But I don't know. You're saying there's a chance? Yes, I am. At the end, if he really does truly want out and he truly demands a trade, they might be able to figure out something. However, I am more of a believer if he does get traded, it's going to be in 2022. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go skyrocket in percentage of chances. I'm going to bump it up to 10. But if I told you there's a 10 times likelihood that he is traded in 2022 than 2021, that speaks a lot more volumes than 10%. At the end of the day, I think that he is going to retire as Seattle Seahawk. And if he doesn't end up retiring, then I'm going to say shame on Seattle for not being able to keep a player like Russell Wilson, because growing up as an athlete, I think every athlete should grow up to be what Russell Wilson is, a player that didn't really have a lot of hype. He was undersized but worked his freaking tail off. That's why I always respect the hell out of Russell Wilson, and he just wants to win some football games. Now, if you guys have made it to the end of this video here, I appreciate you. Hopefully you don't trade me away for anything. But make sure you keep watching a lot of our videos that we do here at Chat Sports. We're going to be covering more stuff in the offseason, more free agency talk, more draft talk, always trades as well. So hit that big red button that says subscribe and go to the link below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. If you're a Seahawks fan and you're sweating bullets right now because you saw Russell Wilson trade rumors, it's all good. We're here to keep you updated and maybe calm you down a little bit as well. Also, you can subscribe, check out the channel. That's at youtube.com/SeahawksTV.